All right, so let's wrap it up. These are just some key points and reminders. Student information data is updated on an ongoing basis throughout the year. So if you're new, Fall 1 has an ending date. Unfortunately, there is no break. There used to be one. If you've been doing this for a long time, I started in 2010. The summers were nice, and I'll leave it at that. But now it's constant work all the time, so just be prepared for that. Student information changes on an ongoing basis, and so your updates to CalPADS should reflect that as well. The student data for Fall 1 is reflective of Census Day, so keep that in mind. If you're certifying in December, those counts may change because we're looking back to October. So if you're doing records in your local systems, be sure to make sure that you're looking at 10/5/2022. The student enrollment file is used to determine active enrollment counts and establish ownership. So the students featured on the reports, or if you're trying to submit a record, you get a GER 5, there's a discrepancy generally between the enrollment record and the program record. So, or it could be any other record, like anything dependent on enrollment. Student subgroups are determined from program, demographic, and FRPM data. Students with disability data submitted via API directly from the special education data system. However, if you're not the one submitting your students with disability data, keep in mind that coordination is needed between you and your, special education data coordinator. And they need access to CalPADS because they don't have a view of certification errors, right? Certification errors generally trigger on data that's in CalPADS. Even now with the CDDs, I don't think that they're getting ported directly back to the special education systems like the input errors. So, working with them, making sure they understand how to get to the certification screen and review those errors would be beneficial. Certification errors and reports will not reflect ODS changes until a new revision has captured. So I've noticed in end of year, sometimes, especially with CDDs, they're not going to be in sync with the revisions, but even errors, you can have one revision process, you can see the date change, but the data in CalPAD still does not correspond with what you're seeing in the revision because possibly you have another one coming down the pipe, so you have less of a problem the earlier you can certify. I know right now that's really not enabled. So, I feel for you, but just keep that in mind. As things are coming up and you're getting closer and closer to the deadline, it only gets more and more delayed, that revision being in sync with what you're seeing in the ODS. Early communication between all parties, those who work in the student information system, those who work in the special education data system, and those are monitoring your LEA from the SELPA is key. Fall 1 certification is a two-step approval process. So yes, you're going to have to wait for the SELPA before it's considered certified. You need to approve it, and then your SELPA will need to approve it. And they definitely have to be approved before the final Fall 1 deadline, both approvals. So here's a suggested timeline, and this was made several, at least, I would say months ago. I think going into September, this slide was created with updated dates. As the CDDs keep being delayed, it may not be practical for every date, but I think right now it's pretty much safe to think that you all should be submitting data to CalPADS. You should be uploading your files to CalPADS and getting the data in. By November, the month of November into the beginning of December, hopefully all your initial submissions are finished and you're resolving CDDs and certification errors and anomalies. That would give you time to review the snapshots. You can spend the first week or two viewing the snapshots, making sure that site leaders have access to the reports and are doing their due diligence. And then you want to approve by the initial deadline, right? The benefit of this approval is that it provides your LEA with T1 estimate. So it's not strictly necessary for self-approval on the initial deadline. However, the final deadline when the data has to be certified, January 20th, 2023, it will need both approvals. That's the LEA and self-approval. And then you can pat yourself on the back, take about 3 hours of break. If you make the final certification deadline, then it's on to fall 2. So going forward, what can you do? What should you focus on? So the next trainings in the sequence is CalPADS anomalies. Kyron has done one already. I don't know the date of another.
Monday.
Monday is the next one, so you can sign up for it in Bridge. It talks about mids, CCEs, and ERDs to the best of his ability and to the best of CalPADS ability, really. And then the CalPADS quarterly is also next week. Remember, November 1st and November 2nd, it's the Brandy show, right? So it's like if you go to the CalPADS Q&A, it's that, but hyped up, right? Because, you know, we get all the updates, the future changes, the status of CalPADS, and Brandy over 2 days does 5 or 6 different sessions. So I'd encourage you to attend. Please find a time between the 1st and the 2nd to attend the quarterly meeting. She's joined by Angela and Martha as well. They assist too. And Paula will be there, the whole gang. We talked about the resources. We pointed you in the direction, so we won't belabor that. If you're new, the link at the top is the fastest way to get a response. Submit a ticket. Right now, we only have 2 people on the service desk, right? And so they may become inundated with tickets. So if you're going through, if you're going through a circle and you don't think you're getting your answer, you can ask for a call back, or you can ask to speak to your monitor and they can direct your ticket. I don't want to discourage anyone from reaching out for help. I just want to make sure that you understand, that we are willing to help. However, the responsibilities of the different levels of support changes. So if you're ever becoming frustrated with support, just ask for your monitor or ask for a call back so we can get to it. Not many of us choose to call first. I find I can manage more tickets replying, but if someone asks for a call, I always return the phone call. So just keep that in mind. And then last but not least, please complete the survey so you can tell Martha how well or bad we prepared you for today's training. If there's anything we should have included, you can add that. If there's anything about the training that is off-putting, you can add that as well. Any information is good because we really try to make the training relevant to the audience, informational, but we do try to make it so it's not too boring. I mean, it is CalPADS after all. It's only so much we can do. And last but not least, we thank you for your hard work. We thank you for attending training. We appreciate your attendance today, and we appreciate your patience most of all. CalPADS has changed a lot, and we're in the eye of the storm, right? I think the worst is past. We got a little bit more coming when the CDDs come, but hopefully this time next year, CalPADS will look a whole lot better than it did even a year previous to now. So, hopefully these changes are beneficial for us all,